If I wasn't watching ReZero for reviewing purposes, I would have dropped it every episode up until episode 7, where it finally becomes decent. From there, the mystery aspect began getting interesting, and the series began to really pay off with the annoying and constant resetting of the plot and character development. Then, with episode 11, Ram clearly became the best part of the series with her development, as Subaru starts to redeem himself to me for having been so annoying most of the time. I'm on episode 12 at the moment, and this isekai does have a lot going for it, even if I don't consider it that great. I can respect it so far. The direction uses the music well, and the music itself is decent enough. The best part of the music right now is the ending sequence song, Styx Helix by Miss and Royd. The twist for me is that Subaru gets isekai but doesn't have the overpowered powers you'd expect from a typical isekai protagonist. Not because the powers went to his phone, because they can survive being plunged into water and being used for days on end without dying. He does have a kind of power where he can respawn after dying, and this leads to him being one of the most painfully driven characters because he's constantly feeling the pain of death, such as when his guts got cut open, for example. At the same time, for being a so-called shut-in gamer, it took him dying a lot of times to realize that the obvious fact that everything has been resetting when he dies. Sometimes characters remind him of that which he should already know. He must be a terrible gamer. The first 3 episodes were painful to get through because the antagonist here is a hollow trope of a sadistic woman that is just evil and over the edge without any context or information on her character. There's nothing meaningful about her or what she is up to, and she came off as annoying with the constant over-the-top attitude I see everywhere in kids shows with villains. She reminds me of Shinobu from Demon Slayer, down to the voice acting. It would have been better just to kill her off and move on already. To make matters worse, she gets put in her place by the opposite and hollow trope, some overpowered knight called Reinhardt that did nothing other than just look good and then leave as if he didn't matter in the story. At first, I found it annoying that everything kept restarting. It made some of the early episodes feel like the same thing, since not much would progress besides the same result of Subaru being wrong and dying once again. As a result, some episodes felt like they just didn't matter because of how little changed. The character development of Emilia and others constantly resetting just felt unnecessary. The use of CGI here is distractingly awful. Right from the start, CGI crowds mixed with 2D characters felt very awkward to watch because of how unnatural the CGI looked compared to everything else. Even later with the dogs, it used CGI again, and it's once again obvious and distractingly unnatural. In the first episode, there's a lot of lazy copy and pasting with the lizards that drive the carts. Right off the bat, Rem makes the series. She comes a bit later on and gets her development and completely outshines Subaru. Her story of being insecure and stuck in the shadow of her sister's efficient past was done nicely. No matter how good she became, she was never satisfied and felt it a hollow victory being better than her now because she only surpassed her sister due to the fact that the sister lost her horn in the past and because it was Rem's own fault that happened. All this time, she had been slaughtering Subaru out of distrust and because she smells the witch on him. Subaru has to figure out how to make the perfect timeline. It's a bit ridiculous that suicide is a part of his character development. Why didn't he choose more painless ways to die? I suppose the staff needed to add in that shock value for the viewers. The gore did surprise me when it didn't look too cartoonish. As he goes, he starts to pick up on hints as to the mystery of the witch that won't let him tell people he keeps resetting time. About curses, figuring out who kills him when he can't see them, and even trying to make Emilia his. As he learns the language, reading, and writing, he grows attached to Rem and Ram and tries to build a timeline where they can have trust. This emotional build-up and resolve did really pay off where I left off. There's a lot I like here. Toga from Revolutionary Girl Una's voice actor plays Roswell and once again delivers a smooth and seductive performance. The backgrounds are beautiful and the action can look great at times, such as Rem when she fights. I was a bit worried that Rem and Ram were constantly still like statues. I was amused to see the I suppose gimmick in the funny ways Ram and Rem talk to each other. As I watched, I was wondering why these characters talk so much, and then I remember that this is the same writer from the more recent Vivi Fluorite Eyes song. That one upset me because it had everything it needed to be anime of the year but failed in its miserable writing. ReZero is significantly better, and as an isekai, even better than Mushoku Tensei for me. For many episodes, I didn't really like Subaru's character, but he is growing and developing better in the more recent episodes as he became this sort of motivational spirit and has his heart set on Emilia, when I think it should be Rem. For Emilia herself, I don't have much at all to say besides she's just a confused and innocent cute girl that stands there and looks pretty for the most part. I like to see her character go somewhere. After a really weak start, ReZero has gotten a lot better. I wonder now what the second half has to bring as Subaru finally got his date with the innocent Emilia. What do I think of it? It's not a masterpiece or amazing to me. Regardless, I respect it because it had its moments. It's decent direction from the staff and scenes that are well built, well done, and pay off in the end. Thank you for listening.